All right, here. I want to make a little reference to this book that we listened to the audiobook, and it's about like a genie basically that gives this kid. It sounds like a freaking iPhone, basically, or a remote control that could do certain things. See, the thing about that is that doesn't sound too far fetched, in this day and age. But the fact of the matter is that the book was wrote in 1901. What was the name of it?
The Master Key by Frank L. Baum.
Frank L. Baum, The Master Key. And what was crazy about it was talking about Tesla. It's talking about Mars, and it's talking about these all this crazy electronic stuff. And it literally sounds like he gives the kid a freaking cell phone that we have right now. But this was written in 1901. Very odd, very odd. It's like in that movie, The Matrix. They say, well, we think it's this is the date, but it's really this date. I mean, with now starting to look back in the late uh night or the early 1900s, freaking these guys are writing about remote controls, and the dudes writing about time machines. All these dudes wrote about stuff that would happen in the future. Either it's
Oh, look, in 2015 there was a movie called The Electric Demon,
the Electric
and
Demon.
it's called, the synopsis goes, an evil billionaire has created a smartphone app that has turned half of the world's population into zombies. Now, one man must go into the internet itself to stop the
The
madness.
lawnmower man, basically. He's
Yeah.
got to turn into the lawnmower man. Yeah, and dude, I just made that last video about Oculus Rift. Dude, listen, if that is identical to psychic driving. Psychic driving is like they put you on LSD, they tape your eyelids open, and they lock you in a chair so you might be able to move your neck a little bit, but not enough to not look forward. And they play a screen on the TV. They just repeat something over and over. They repeat violent images for uh like prolonged period of time, like sick amounts of time, like 36 hours straight. Freaking and it's basically like psychic driving is like taking someone's mind and wiping the tape clean, because by constantly showing these images, eventually the mind just shuts off and it just like it's blank. Uh, and then they switch the tape, and then they put on the tape what they actually want you to do, and then they give you a fake identity. Like you'll swear that this is me, this is who I am, but it was really like under hypnosis they created the identity. You're Jason Bourne. You know what I'm saying? It's really crazy like that. But with these freaking books, the 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 like I said, even like Time Machine, 1984. 1984 wasn't wrote in 84, buddy. Uh, it's crazy. Like what was it? The Huxley seminar was in 1963. And during the time of 47, there is so much crazy stuff going on. This MJ12 stuff, Roswell, bombs being made. Supposed what is it? 60s. That's when they faked the moon landing. I mean, dude, the stuff just gets crazy. But what's weird about it is like all these people. It's almost as if they're like astro projecting and talking to spirits, and the spirits do to some extent, or the fallen angels, whatever. Look, do to some extent know what's coming in the future. Freaking so they can in a way it's almost like if you're this being, and the only way you could ever get out of your prison is to somehow teach these dumb humans how to make a quantum computer. But the moment they make the doorway, the gateway, that was the only way it could ever get out. So therefore, the thing that's given them the knowledge, basically don't give a f about them. It's more or less, it's like it's Machiavelli. You're the ends to get the means. and the ends justifies the means. So like, look, in the end, if you make the, the portal, uh, and the genie gets out of the bottle, this genie doesn't have to grant your wishes just because you got it out of the thing. Now it's your master now. It's the flip. The genie's normally like, "What is thy bidding, master?" Instead, now this thing has all these powers, and it's subject. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't read the whole book, didn't get through it all. It was only a few chapters deep, but they talk about Tesla and they talk about technology that they're not supposed to know about back then. But if you find out about this guy named Sir Francis Bacon, he had, just like Da Vinci, they had all these different like drawings of inventions. Either they had these inventions in the past and these guys were just drawing replications off other people's work. Like, say they really never burned the Library of Alexandria. Instead, they basically false flagged it. They stole out all the good texts, like took a bunch of rubbish, put it in there, burn it. That's the books. And then secret societies like the Pragathan cult, the math cult. I mean, you can see how that overlays with every other secret society. Like even Chinese kung fu has all the Pragathis math and geometry within the movements itself. You know what I'm saying? But yet these guys, none of these guys could actually read or write. But yet somehow just the body is configured in such a way that it has certain kind of geometry, the way it moves or whatnot. But you can see overlay in it, but these things aren't really connected to one another. But what I'm trying to get to here is basically, if you really look into a lot of this stuff, there really were genies and jinns and angels, and like a thunder angel came down and taught the first Japanese guy how to make the curved katana sword that's like really hard. It's almost indestructible type of a method they use to make it very resilient metal. And you mix the hard with the soft. It's a very alchemical type of a fucking metallurgy, supreme order of metallurgy type of a thing. And supposedly he said it was this angel, the thunder angel, and then you can, if you say, well, the thunder angel, and then you look at Greek, well, you'd be like, oh, that must be Zeus. Or maybe in Viking lore, that would be, oh, that could be Odin, or that could be Thor. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same beings, the heavenly beings. You can see they give their gifts to different cultures, and it's always like weapons of destruction, for instance. You know what I'm saying? Because it's crazy. But you see the same pattern. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at. You'll see the same kind of like a similarity to knowledge from beings like electric demons. And I mean, what I really loved about that, the way that book was that it was technology like this genie that had this technology, freaking, and all this knowledge about Mars. You know what I'm saying? It's like the woman who wrote Harry Potter said she didn't just write it from her imagination. She said ascended masters and spirit guides and all kinds of other entities came and gave her the inspiration to write the book. So the thing about dealing with these occult guys is like, don't do what they do. You know what I'm saying? But you can listen to what they said to confirm that, like, yeah, look, this, if you need convincing that, like, look, supernatural's real, like the devil and shit, and ghosts and poltergeists, and look, cattle mutillators, vampires, werewolves, space alien abductions, Mothmans, all this type of stuff. I mean, you'll come. The more you look into it, man, it's like they're not all of them are made up, or they're based on some kind of fucking truth. But it's crazy. It's like, so in some of these, like these fictional things, like they really channeled something straight out of the fucking dark side, right out of the kingdom of the devil, right out of the devil's kingdom. Like Wile E. Coyote wrote that. It's like and you'll really see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see them kind of in a way that they're evangelizing for the devil. They're having sympathy for the devil, trying to make you to use your imagination to join in and believe in the story, and then therefore it's kind of you get this faith in this fairy tale. And in a way, that's one way. That's the way the devil gets in when we're very young and we're impressionable and our minds are very imaginative and we're very naive. You know what I'm saying? And you can see evidence of the same kind of force trying to tentacle its way somehow into your brain to drag you off into the abyss. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but like I said, in a way, it really is like this. And the thing might promise you all these, like, it'll give you great promises and all this and that. And it'll use pimpery. It'll tell you what you want to hear. But the minute that you proverbially open the Stargate, this thing's gonna come out and vaporize you, and then eat it. It's probably gonna eat your corpse. You know what I'm saying? And then walk off and fly away and go steal all the gold and build a big giant pyramid somewhere. But it's crazy because they were describing things like way long time ago before it ever happened. And it's sometimes it is almost as if there's some way that these guys something they're tapping into that very much is like there's real information there, but there's also these things, these guardians, these archons, these gatekeepers, like that's described in that book, The Master Key. This thing, the electric demon. But yeah, and this is a reoccurring theme. And look, if you really want to get spaced out, spooked out, like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, watch children's cartoons. It was like there is so much weird, super duper, like mind control, sublims, like commands, triggers, NLP, chaining, anchoring, scientific, what was that? Engineering. Basically, scientific social engineering. There's all kinds of like, look, it's just like they're laying it on them so thick, like straight up hypnosis. Like every dirty trick in the book you could think of, that's what they're using these days. And it's like they do it the worst to like the children, man. And it's really sad. But they